Good afternoon, everyone. We thank the media for their patience in waiting for us. I am joined this afternoon, of course, with the Prosecutor General Richard Fadulion. We'll be giving updates on several matters. So let's begin with the flood control cases. Just to recap, so there are 14 flood control cases in total, 5 of which refer to the cases involving Sims Construction and Trading. These are all within the 1st District of Bulacan province. So out of the 5 cases of those 14, 2 have been referred to the Ombudsman, one of which was filed with the Sandigan Bayan, and this is the malversation case involving Bong Revilla. The other 2 have been resolved for release. So these 2 cases have been resolved and will be released very soon. One of the 3 will be released next week. So that's what we can ensure the public, that 2 of those cases have been resolved and will be for immediate release. In the next batch of cases, we remember after the 5 cases constituting the initial batch, we have the 6 cases involving either of 2 contractors. That's Wawaw or Top Notch Catalyst Builders. So we are here to report that as of February 2, 2026, all of these 6 cases have been submitted for resolution, which will be released pretty soon. As to what date exactly, we just encourage the public to wait in the meantime, but we can guarantee that this has been submitted for resolution. Following this, we have the 3 plunder cases that everyone knows of. Alam natin na ito yung sinasabi nating high-profile cases. It involves 3 prominent individuals. That's Senator Jinggoy Estrada, former Senator Bong Revilla, and former Ako Bicol Representative Zaldico. We know that for the 2 cases involving Senator Jinggoy and Senator Bong respectively, the first setting was done or conducted on February 2, 2026, and the next setting will be on February 12. As I've reported to the media previously in a press briefing, yung kaso po ni Senator Jinggoy, of which former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan was also a co-respondent, was only for the receipt of the complaint and the corresponding evidence or documents attached to the complaint filed by the NBI. So the filing of the counter affidavit for these cases will be at the next setting. That's on February 12. And as for the plunder case against former Representative Zaldico, the DOJ reports that it is now submitted for resolution. So that is the current updates po for the flood control cases pending with the DOJ. Well, it would not be accurate to say pending with the DOJ since dalawa po doon is already with the Ombudsman. One has been filed with Sandigan Bayan. That's the malversation case against Senator Bong Revilla. So let's move on to another topic, the case of Atong Ang. We know that the case docketed as People of the Philippines versus Charlie Atong Ang, along with other accused, have been filed in 3 separate courts. Isa po doon ay Santa Cruz, Laguna, RTC, the RTC of Lipa City, Batangas, and then one in San Pablo, Laguna. Sa Santa Cruz, Laguna po na case, trial has already commenced. The warrant of arrest was issued, as everyone knows, last January 14, 2026. For the case in Lipa City, Batangas, the warrant for that case has been issued or was issued January 16 of this year. Similarly, trial has commenced in that case. As for the pending case in San Pablo, Laguna, we informed the public that the issuance of the warrant of arrest was deferred by the court following a motion to defer or suspend proceedings by the accused. The Prosecutor General will elaborate on details on this later on during our question and answer portion. So lastly, we have the case of the Discayas as for the third topic. As we reported recently, it was found that there was prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction to charge Cesara Rowena Discaya of 4 counts of tax evasion corresponding to 2 taxable years. That's taxable year 2020 and 2021. We say 4 counts because per each taxable year, 2 violations for 2 provisions of the tax code or the National Internal Revenue Code was found. That's section 254, which is for willful attempt to evade or defeat taxes, and Section 255, which is willful failure to supply correct and accurate information. So one count for each provision corresponding to one taxable year. The information for this case was filed, we report, on February 3, 2026 with the Court of Tax Appeals, which has jurisdiction over the offense. As for the other accused, si Pacifico Discaya II, otherwise known as Curly, similarly, prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction was found to charge him for the same provisions of the tax code, that's Section 254 and 255, willful intent to evade taxes, and willful failure to supply the correct information is ITR. However, the information for that particular case has not yet been filed because Curly Discaya filed a motion for reconsideration with the deferment of the filing of the information with a panel of prosecutors, or should I say just one prosecutor. And so because of this filing, the BIR, as a matter of procedure, was asked to comment. And so until such time the BIR can comment, and until such time that the panel of prosecutors or that prosecutor can resolve on the basis of these documents, then preliminary investigation is continuing. Okay, so on to some good news for everyone. The DOJ is proud to announce or to report that it was able to secure convictions in 3 separate cases. These cases pertained respectively to a case on the unlawful importation of drugs, a violation of the Anti-Torture Act, and one more case for child trafficking. In the case for unlawful importation of drugs, the DOJ was able to secure a conviction in this smuggling case involving a large shipment of methamphetamine hydrochloride, otherwise known as shabu, with an appraised value of 998 million pesos. The violation pertained to the provision of RA 10863, or the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, specifically Section 1401, which is, again, the unlawful importation of prohibited goods, or shabu. The second case that we report is on a torture case. So the DOJ secured a conviction in a torture case involving one police senior inspector who was convicted of a violation of Section 4 of the Anti-Torture Act, or RA number 9745. So he was sentenced to suffer the penalty of reclusion perpetua. In addition, he was ordered to pay the heirs of the victim, known as Darius Evangelista, 75,000 pesos for civil indemnity, 75,000 pesos for moral damages, and another 75,000 pesos for exemplary damages. And lastly, of equal importance is a third case where the DOJ prosecutors were able to secure a conviction in a case involving child trafficking. The accused, Mary Grace Espinar, who was reported to have sold a 11-day-old baby for 50,000 pesos, was charged with a violation of RA 7610, otherwise known as the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse Act, as well as RA 9208, which is the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act. So following a successful plea bargaining agreement with the accused therein pleaded guilty to the lesser offense of child trafficking under RA 7610, and she was sentenced to suffer 6 years imprisonment, respectively, for 2 counts to be served successively, so a total of 12 years in total. So we now open the floor for questions. The exact date po for that is something that the handing prosecutor provided. We don't have the exact dates yet, but in the ordinary course of things, pag may comment na ifa-file, they are usually given 10 days to do so. And then we remember that despite or irrespective of the number of days na involved in filing and replying thereto to that comment, the prosecutors must work within a 60-day timeline under Department Circular 15. So, yun po yung time frame.
Okay, the resolution was issued about 3 weeks ago. So we expect that the filing of the motion for reconsideration would have been within the 15-day period. No? So it's about, kung 3 weeks ago yan, you can surmise that it was probably late last week when the motion for reconsideration was filed. So we had to defer the filing of the information before the Court of Tax Appeals until such time that the BIR has been given the opportunity to file its comment. But rest assured that siguro within, by the coming week, we will have been able to resolve that issue already.
Any more questions?
Sir, on Zaldico lang po. Sir, di ba recently po kasi na-float yung idea na dapat mag-restitute. I remember Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla was saying a figure around 57 billion na sinasabi na dapat ibalik, and sinasabi rin ng Ombudsman Remulla na to prove na serious siya dun sa pag-negotiate. Although yung camp ni Zaldico already denied na they want to negotiate. If ever, sir, if they decided to return any amount, may puwang ba yun? May effect ba yun, sir, dun sa mga ongoing case and complaint na kinahaharap ni Zaldico?
Okay, we've always said na ang restitution is not something which is inherently in the law. It's not specifically provided. Pero tama yung sinasabi nila Secretary John Vic na siguro kung halimbawa ikaw ay talagang merong intention, no? Kung ikaw ay may remorse o pagsisisi doon sa ginagawa mo at gusto mo nang makatulong, that is something that can be considered. But it is not a precondition for one's admission into the program. First, we have to first evaluate kung ano man yung sasabihin niya, kung ito'y makakatulong ba dun sa kaso. Of course, kung mag-a-apply sila as a witness who would be admitted into the witness protection program, for them to be considered, we have to determine more than whatever amounts they will return, yung sasabihin ba nila is material doon sa kaso. Meron ba silang sasabihin na hindi pa namin nalalaman na makakatulong para yung mga tao na involved talaga or sangkot makonvict, no? Or madiin sila lalo. Pero yung pagsasaoli, yan ay isang bagay na pwedeng pag-usapan during the preparation of the Memorandum of Agreement. But as you said, no, this has been denied already by the camp of former Congressman Zaldico. So there's really not much to discuss, no, until such time that they change their mind and decide to sit down and talk with government.
What about the status of Senator Joel Villanueva? Ang sabi po ni Ombudsman Remulla, nasa advanced stage na raw ito. What does it mean, sir?
Well, I think when you...
malapit na ba siya, sir, for reso here?
Yes, I think it was mentioned already na yung isang kaso na pending dito sa amin where Senator Joel Villanueva is charged with malversation is already submitted for resolution. That is as far as the case which is here in the Department of Justice. I am not privy to or aware of any other case or if there are cases which are also pending before the Office of the Ombudsman. No? Kasi hindi namin alam kung ang reference is made with respect to those cases, pero ang kaya lang namin sagutin is yung kaso na nandito sa amin.
Sir, tama no, yung case ni Joel, tatlo yung case, complaint na nakafile sa kanya. Yung sa tatlo na yun, nakapag-submit na siya ng counter niya?
Yeah, to clarify, ma'am, as I mentioned earlier, as of February 2, 2026, yung 6 na kaso involving Wawa or Top Notch, 3 of which kasama na si Senator Joel Villanueva have been submitted for resolution. So, ibig sabihin, nakapag-file na siya ng counter affidavit niya, kumpleto na yung documents sa harap ng prosecutor for them to make their finding whether or not prima facie evidence exists. So, as to when exactly, again, we're working with the timeline under the rules.
What about Senator Chis Escudero? Are there any updates on that? Kasama na rin ba siya, sir, doon sa may kinikase build-up?
Well, as far as the case build-up, we cannot disclose who are subject of the case build-up as we do not want to preempt, no? Kung ano man yung ebidensya na ginagather o kinakalat ng National Bureau of Investigation. But for sure, we take into account all the statements that were issued by those who have been admitted into the program. At tinitingnan po ng mabuti yan, masusing pinag-aaralan yan at nangangalap ng ebidensya. Sa ngayon lang, hindi namin pwedeng banggitin kung patungkol kanino o kung sino-sino itong mga tao na to. It would be unfair up until such time that there are really cases which are pending or filed before the Department of Justice.
Sir, last na lang po on my end. Yung draft committee report ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, there are names po na being recommended po na sampahan po. Doon po sa mga pangalan na lumabas, yung iba po alam na namin ay may na-filean na po. Pagka napirmahan na po yung final committee report, magagamit din po ba yun ng Department of Justice?
Yes, sa ngayon hindi pa namin nakikita yung draft committee report ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Gusto rin naming makita ito, hindi para sabihin na ito ay magiging basihan na ng pagsasampa ng kaso. Ito ay magiging basihan para mangalap ng ebidensya at titingnan kung ano bang katibayan ang mga naiharap, ano ba yung mga leads. At best, it may be considered as leads that the department can follow and look into, and which we can refer to the NBI para tingnan nila kung sasabihin halimbawa sa committee report may ebidensya at ito yung ebidensya na nakikita namin patungkol dito sa mga tao na to, pwedeng sundan yon at maging basihan ng patuloy na pag-iimbestiga at pangangalap ng NBI ng ebidensya. So, sa ngayon, I think it would be premature to make any statement up until the time that we get hold of a copy of the official Senate Blue Ribbon Committee report.
Chief, sa restitution pa rin, restitution is being made despite yung mga actions ng AMLA. See, in your discussions with these persons of interest, tawagin na natin muna in the meantime, anong percentage ba yung hawak pa rin nila that they can still return it at will? At saka yung tinamaan ng AMLA, would you know? O speculative?
It would be very difficult to speculate as to how much or even come up with a ballpark figure, Kasi this is something which has been going on for quite some time. So, hindi natin malalaman until ma-identify mo yung mga specific projects na yan. Totoo yung sinasabi mo na ang AMLC, ang tinitingnan naman ng AMLC dito is yung mga unlawful transactions, From the unlawful transactions alone, hindi mo malalaman agad-agad kung gaano kalaki ang involved. You'll be able to come up with a figure. But for now, while we know that there are assets of persons of interest, which are been frozen, ang tinitingnan natin ngayon is itong mga assets na to, ano ba may mga unlawful transactions ba na kung saan ito nagagamit. Now, as far as kami naman, kung tatanungin nyo kami, ano pa ba yung meron sila? Kasi magtataka ka nga, bakit naka-freeze pero meron nakakapagsole? Well, our suspicion has always been that whatever has been declared is not always the accurate or the complete amount. So, andyan dyan yung reservation namin na, yun nga, nakakapagtaka, paano kang nakakuha ng ganong kalaking halaga, bakit ka meron nakatabi na ganong kalaking pera, gayong lumalabas na ang assets mo frozen as of this time. So, ito'y patunay lamang na, alam natin, we cannot swallow everything hook, line, and sinker. Pag sinabi sa'yo na, ang nakuha ko lang, 1 bilyon, automatically maniniwala na tayo. Kailangan tingnan mo yan, ilang transactions sila na involved, ilang projects ang covered niyan, and how much time it has been going on. That is the only time that we will probably be able to come up with a ballpark figure. Now, as to where they keep these monies, which have not been part of those frozen, we really do not know. We're still trying to look into the bottom of this. Inaalam pa rin namin. At ataalamin namin yan dun sa mga testigo.
Sir, follow up lang, sir. Speculative again. Pero in case that these monies is being hidden, o sabihin natin hidden by relatives or close friends or whatever, may liability ba yun? I mean, maliban sa they got money from these guys, hindi naman pwede sabihin naman na hindi ko naman alam na nagaling yun dun
Alam mo, mahirap kasi tayong we cannot give parang specific answers to questions which are based on speculation. I would rather that it is actually discovered, it becomes factual, then on the basis of that, we can come up with a recommendation. But as early as now, it would be foolhardy for us to make conclusive statements, especially kung ang pinag-uusapan natin is hypothetical. If you're talking about probabilities or possibilities, everything is possible the way things are happening now.
Sir, sorry.
Yes.
Last na. May papakonfirm lang, sir. Yung entrepreneur po na Jonathan Bayawalso and Carlito Macadangdang na iniimbestigahan daw po ng AMLA right now, are they also involved in the Ghost Flood Control Project po sa Bulacan? Jonathan Payawalso and Carlito Macadangdang.
Yeah, I think Jonathan So is part of those subject of the investigation now. Doon sa Top Notch.
One of the
Related to the
respondents.
top
Yeah,
notch.
one of the respondents.
He's one of the respondents
Yes, yes.
in the complaint.
Yes.
Yung Macadangdang, sir.
You have it?
So, remember that marami tong respondents per case.
We can check into that. No? We can check into that
Sige,
if
sir.
that particular name is also among those subject
Pero
of
sir,
the
itong
ongoing
CISO,
investigation.
ano po ang kaugnayan niya dito sa Top Notch? Is like part of the contractor ba siya, sir? Or investor siya nung kumpanya?
Hindi namin masabi kung contractor siya, no? Kasi alam namin hindi naman siya contractor, pero lumalabas yung pangalan niya doon as parang the proponent, no? So it's still up to the panel of prosecutors how they will see his participation, or what evidence will point to what his participation will be. That's something that we will have to await, no, because it's something that will be included in the resolution.
Sir, missing sa Bungero po, balikan ko lang po yung sinabi niyo po kanina na may motion to suspend proceeding po ang isang kaso po ni Atong Ang sa San Pablo, Laguna. Sir, can you explain ano po ba yung process po nun?
Okay, kapag ang kaso, final mo na yung information, no? Like, so, the panel of prosecutors came up with its resolution. Kasabay nun, kung halimbawang ang recommendation is for indictment or pagsasampa ng kaso, isasampa yung information dun sa husgado. Kapag dumating yun sa husgado, ang husgado ay merong 10 araw upang ito'y pag-aralan, tingnan, suriin, at alamin kung merong basihan para mag-issue ng warrant of arrest. Kaya, kung nakikita ninyo, kahit pa yung ibang information sa Santa Cruz, sa Lipa ay na-file noong December pa, siguro because of the intervening holidays and then the time that is given to the court to evaluate whether or not there is basis to issue warrants of arrest, lumabas lamang siya noong Enero. Okay? Now, itong sa San Pablo, ang sinasabi ng korte dito, nag-file ng motion to defer yung mga akusado at parang determination of probable cause. Meron bang sapat na ebidensya para itong mga tao na to ay usigin o sampahan ng kaso. Kaya ang naging order o direktiba ng court is isubite ng department, no, hindi lamang yung ebidensya na nagpapatunay na sila ay dapat sampahan ng kaso, hinihingi rin ng husgado rito pati yung mga kontrasalaysay na isinumite dito sa amin nung time na nagko-conduct ng preliminary investigation. So, over our objection, no, nag-object yung ating prosecutor dito, pero nag-issue na ng omnibus order ang husgado sa San Pablo. At tayo magko-comply, no? Magko-comply tayo para tingnan natin kung once we complied, that will be sufficient basis already for the court to come up with a determination whether it should issue a warrant or not.
Sir, kapag hindi po mag-issue ng warrant, ano na po yung mangyayari po sa kaso po na yun?
Ah,
Titigil po ba yung trial? Or...
Again, that's speculative. I cannot speculate on what the action of the court will be. But certainly, whatever the court's action whatever action the court will take, no, insofar as this motion, we will be taking steps also. What these steps are, we cannot disclose right now dahil ayokong pangunahan kung ano magiging determinasyon ng husgado.
Atong ang case, kidnapping with homicide. Yes, and kidnapping is illegal detention. Doon lang may pending motion for the deferment of the proceedings. Kasi tandaan natin, di ba, 3 courts yan. Doon sa 2, Lipa City, Batangas, sa Santa Cruz, may warrant na. In fact, trial has commenced. Nagsimula na yung trial, nagka-pre-trial na arraignment, at least for those who were arrested, who, of course, except Charlie Ato Ang, who we know is still at large and a fugitive from justice. So doon sa San Pablo, Laguna na lang, wala pang warrant na issued because of the said motion to defer proceedings.
So if the DOJ plan to request na pagsamahin nga sa isang court,
Yes, actually, even before the filing, we'd already made a request with the Supreme Court through the Office of the Court Administrator to have these cases transferred, venue, and then to have it consolidated. No? Kasi, yun, balik tayo doon sa tanong kanina, kinatigan ba? Yun nga ang nakakapagtaka doon eh. Kasi this is based on the same set of facts. And yet, the findings of the courts vary. 1 or 2 courts issue warrants of arrest, meaning to say, nakitaan nila na sufficient yung ebidensya para mag-issue ng warrant as against the accused. And yet, here comes another court saying na parang, hindi, assess ko muna. Titingnan ko muna kung sufficient ba o tama ba yung naging basehan ng Department of Justice before it actually issues it. Now, I do not know if the court is just being cautious, it's just being careful, but certainly kami, ang tingin namin is bakit magkaiba ang pananaw ng mga husgado, samantalang ang pinagbabasihan naman niya ay isang set of facts lamang.
Pending pa yun, sir, yung sa Supreme Court matter.
Yes, that is still pending. We're following it up kasi usually mga matters like that will be taken up by the Supreme Court and Bank. So we did file that prior to or simultaneous with the filing of the informations sa husgado. And it is necessary that we first file it in the right jurisdiction. So in this particular cases, we filed it in Santa Cruz, San Pablo, and then in Lipa. Since na-raffle na siya doon, no, pwede na naming sundutin insofar as mag-follow up doon sa request na mailipat yung kaso sa ibang jurisdiction.
So, kapag nilabas po yung papel na committee or yung passion, pinasulat po yung separate natin sa
Yeah.
po ba yung document na nilabas?
Okay, hindi ko alam kasi hindi ko nakita kung ano yung nilabas ni Attorney Topacio, but
Yung
Yeah.
pinost po kasi ni Attorney Topacio on his social media Facebook page, 3 pages lang po yun ng supposed resolution. Now, although on its face, mukhang yun na nga mismo, we could not confirm it. But the ruling in the Topacio case is that it was dismissed. So there was no finding of prima facie evidence. That we can confirm. We just cannot say kung yun mismo yung resolution namin na pinost sa Facebook page niya.
yes, it is confirmed. We did issue a resolution. Sabi nga ni Spokes, what he posted was probably just 3 pages, but this is actually about 26 pages, no? 26 pages long. We did dismiss the case that was filed by Senator Hontiveros as against Topacio, Byron Cristobal, Jeffrey Celis, Crisette Chu, Jay Sonsa, Alex Istor, and Tio Moreno. Okay? Pero liwanagin din namin na at an earlier time, I think this was later part of January,
20
we did come out with a resolution also as against the witness referred to, no, dun sa kaso na final ni Senator Hontiveros. This is as against Michael Murillo, which was also resolved by the department, but we made a recommendation, no, to indict or to charge Michael Murillo for cyber libel.
Yung dismissed na case, hindi pa nakasama doon si Maurilio.
Hindi siya kasama doon sa mga respondents doon. Okay? Hindi siya kasama doon. Ha? Hiwalay na kaso yung kay Murillo. These are 2 separate cases. Murillo was recommended indicted, I think this was late December. December ba? Or
January, sir. January 29.
January. Kailan na magiging filing? Malamang sa na-file na to. May bail naman ito. Yes, this has been filed already in court. Saang court? Tingnan na natin kung nakasaan sa resolution. Wala kasi ang kopya ng information eh. RTC Pasay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yung acquittal ni former Congressman Teves pertains to his alleged involvement in the murder which took place or happened sometime in 2019. So these are among the several cases na non-bailable which he is facing. So the acquittal there, parang sinasabi kasi ng desisyon ng husgado ron is that iisa lang yung testigo na tumayo laban kay former Congressman Teves na sinasabi siya ang nag-mastermind nung pagpatay, no? Na syempre hindi kinatigan ng husgado at sinabi na hindi sapat yun, no? Kami ngayon, we're exerting efforts to see if I think there's a motion for reconsideration that will be filed or whether or not we will still file one. But definitely we will question the decision. Okay? We're good? Thank
Thank you for everyone's
Thank
time.
you.